We've decided to make this a regular feature, so in this video I'll be answering more of your questions. So kicking off with the first question. I'm very fond of the grey waistcoat. Any helpful hints on sources to obtain a similar one? Okay, this was a grey wool double-breasted waistcoat, and a good place to look would be specialist formal wear shops that do wedding style clothing, because a grey waistcoat is very popular with morning dress. If you don't find one you like, I would suggest going down the custom route, made to measure or bespoke, and a cloth to pick would be something with a bit of texture to it. I quite like a lightish flannel. Are there any affordable alternatives to Albert Thurston braces? Albert Thurston are the world's premium braces maker. They supply all the top brands internationally, Jermyn Street, Savile Row. Other braces are available, but I've had Albert Thurston braces I've bought in the 80s and I still wear them. So pound per wear, they're really good value. I've seen other ones. I would really suggest investing in the best ones, and they last you forever. If a tailor is adding brace buttons to a pair of trousers, are they also able to remove the belt loops? Okay, that's really interesting. There are a lot of comments about wearing braces with trousers with belt loops. Some people find the idea of an empty belt loop unappealing to the eye. So yes, a good tailor could remove the belt loops. Another thing they should be able to do, if they're a good tailor, if your trouser has quite a long hem, they're unfinished, and you've got a bit of spare cloth, they could even make a pair of side adjusters to put on the waistband, so you can have side adjusters and brace buttons to give it more of a custom look. Would a buff waistcoat be appropriate for a groom? Well, short answer, absolutely yes. Buff is a very traditional colour. It's a very lightish cream beige colour, very elegant. Can be worn with your black morning coat, or it's a great thing to add to a dark lounge suit to make it look more festive, dressing for a wedding. If you have two buttons on your suit jacket, you are only supposed to button the upper button. So what is the point of the second button? Okay, fair question. Yes, on most ready-to-wear and bespoke two-button jackets for suits or blazers, you only button up the top button. It's cut in such a way, if you look at this model here, that beneath the waist button, the jacket cuts away and flares out. By buttoning the bottom button, you're distorting the fit of the jacket over the hips, often causing the vents to not sit properly. So you only button the top button. So the lower button exists for aesthetic reasons. It gives it a nice balance and it fills the gap. If you don't like them, if you don't see the points of them, you can do what I've done and obtain a one button jacket, which is, if you notice that, you can see the cutaway. You could put a second buttonhole there, but it wouldn't be buttoned up. So my short answer is, unless you've gone for very specifically to a tailor and ordered a two button jacket where both buttons can be done up, and you'd have to have a discussion about that, never button the bottom button. What is your opinion of the style of tie knot of His Royal Highness Prince Michael of Kent? Okay, well, for those who don't know, Prince Michael of Kent is quite well known in the menswear world for having a large, chunky tie knot. I think he does this by tying his tie quite high up and then loosely tying it, so it's a really chunky knot. I think he looks fantastic in it. He's got a very strong personal style. I love his blazers. I like his very well-groomed beard. So yeah, I think it really suits him. Should you try to copy him? Approach with caution. Large tie knots are difficult to carry off, but Prince Michael of Kent has that personal style. It looks great on him. What makes a trouser a chino? I've seen chinos with front pockets and side pockets, so is it specifically the material that makes a trouser a chino? Okay. To my mind, a chino is a combination of fabric and cut. So it is a cotton drill, which is like a twill material, quite a robust material, often seen in like beiges and khakis, although you do see other colours are available. And then the cut of a chino, for me, is flat fronted and ironed flat without a front crease and without leg lining, inside leg lining. I think if you get cotton trousers with a front crease, pleats and lining, that to me is a cotton tailored trouser. Often gets called a chino, but to me a chino is more basic and rustic in construction. What's the correct trouser break? Well, trouser break is created when the hem of your trousers touches your shoe, and you'll get small creases, depending on how long they are, which we call break. Now, how much break you have is a matter of personal opinion, but within the parameters, I always tell my customers to go from having just touching the shoe, so there's minimal break, to having a full break where you've got 1 or 2 folds at the front. You should never have break or folds at the back of the trouser. That means they're too long. So anything between just touching and a couple of folds at the front is correct. How do I know if a shirt fits properly? Okay, well, starting at the collar, it shouldn't be so baggy around your neck so you can put more than one finger in. So that's a nice fit. Sleeve length should be, so when you're wearing a jacket, you can see a nice little bit of shirt cuff. And as far as body width, it shouldn't be so tight so you can see any pulling on the buttons, but it shouldn't be so baggy as you actually see folds at the front. So within that world, you can have choice of how fitted you like it or how loose you like it and how long you like it, but those are the key areas when buying a shirt. What's the difference between slim fit, regular fit and tailored fit? Well, these are expressions we see in the ready-to-wear menswear world, and it will vary from brand to brand, but generally it's understood that regular fit is your largest fit, sometimes called the classic fit, one of the biggest, and then slim fit would be the smallest, and then tailored fit is usually the sort of in-between fit. Sometimes means it's slightly more tapered, so you'll get a bigger chest in perhaps if it's a shirt, and slightly more tapered into the waist, meaning it's been tailored. But yeah, those are what we generally understand by those terms. But if you're buying online, check the size scale, check with the brand. Would you recommend buying a 3-button single-breasted jacket? Yes, I really like a 3-button single-breasted jacket, whether it's as a blazer, as a sports jacket, particularly a tweed sports jacket, because you've got that sort of hacking jacket association. There's a great video about that right here. For suits, I would say if you've got a few suits and you're looking at something a little bit more interesting, maybe like a Prince of Wales check or a chalk stripe, something a bit more of a design, it might complement a 3-button, but definitely for a jacket, it's a nice thing to have. How would you style a pinstripe suit for a modern look? Sure, pinstripe is a very classic look, which I really like. If you want to give them more of a modern look, I would dress it down perhaps with a very dark polo shirt. I think that's going to look really, really smart. It has a lot of office connotations. So if you've got maybe like a dark navy, 2-button navy pinstripe, and you put it with like a navy fine gauge polo shirt, maybe some black Chelsea boots, yeah, it can look very modern, very sophisticated. So yeah, it's not just for business. Do you recommend wearing chinos in winter, especially if they're lighter colours? Yes, you can get chinos in slightly heavier cottons, and I enjoy wearing lighter colours in winter. In fact, we've got a great video about how to wear light colours in winter, just here. What are some casual upgrade alternatives to jeans? Well, the first thing that springs to mind would be chinos. Alternatives to that could be things like cotton corduroy, cotton moleskins. You can also get them in a jean cut, like a 5-pocket style. So if you don't want something that's too formal, but want something different to denim, that's a great alternative. And if you want to be a little bit sort of high-low dressing and go a little bit smarter for casual wear, a pair of grey flannels. Thank you for everyone who wrote in with their questions. I hope you found the answers useful. I really enjoy answering them. If you have any more questions, please send them in. The best way of getting them to us is to join our mailing list. There's a link below to that. And then email them in. That way you get to the top of the pile. As usual, if you have any comments, put them below. And don't forget to subscribe.